May I please have your kind attention? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You know how in cartoons, when someone has an idea, a light bulb appears above their head? Well, that actually happened to me. I am Dinesh Wadhwani, and I started my first company when I was 13, making software for businesses back home in Ghana. My latest venture is called ThinkLight, which provides energy efficiency solutions to commercial applications. One day, I saw an ad for a light bulb that was up to 80% more efficient, but cost $65 each. I thought a better idea would be to start a company and provide large-scale commercial solutions and charge them on the actual savings rather than just a light bulb. Now, I have a supply chain that extends from Germany to South Korea, China, and of course, my dorm room. This would not have been possible without the professors and the support at Babson College, whether tax issues, legal issues, dealing with employees, and several others. Recently, I was named the #1 student entrepreneur in New England. And I was glad to be able to be at the New York Stock Exchange where I got to ring the bell. If Babson was a cartoon, there'd be a lot of light bulbs floating around. Thank you.
My name is Catherine Portner, and like Babson College, entrepreneurship is a part of my DNA. Both my father and grandfather started their own businesses, and I knew that I would do the same. Taking my inspiration from my great-great-grandfather, Robert Portner, who emigrated from Germany and built the most successful pre-Prohibition brewing company in the South. He died in 1906, and when Virginia passed the 18th Amendment a decade later, his dream died with it. Now, almost 100 years later, my sister and I are resurrecting his dream by opening a brew pub to honor his legacy and serve as a microbrewery business incubator, which market tests new products and compiles customer feedback for aspiring brewers. Thanks to the support of the Babson community, our business is a top 3 finalist in a nationwide competition, the last plan standing $100K. Dollars, that is. And ours may be the only family business with a century-long gap in its succession plan. But I know that my great-great-grandfather would be proud of us for closing it.
Dinesh, do you know how many lights there are in this room? I mean, this is a project for you, and I fully expect that by the end of the evening, you will have figured out how to relight this room in a way that dramatically increases the energy efficiency and reduces the glare on the speaker. And on behalf of Catherine, just to get started, why don't we all lift a glass and celebrate her microbrewery. They were really terrific, and they're just a part of the Babson student population that you're going to be seeing here tonight and you're going to be hearing from. During the evening, we're going to hear from 4 more students who have their own stories to share about their experience at Babson. And quite honestly, that's the best way to understand what this place is all about. It's not about brochures, it's not about testimonials, it's not about rankings and ratings. How many times can I tell you we're #1 in entrepreneurship at the undergraduate level for 14 years? How many times can I tell you we're #1 in entrepreneurship at the graduate level for 18 years? How many times can I tell you that we're the 11th highest ranked return on investment institution for an undergraduate education that costs $53,000 a year. And when you look at the population between 1 and 15, they don't look anything like us. They're not schools like us, they're not our size, they're not tuition dependent. There's something very special about Babson, and that's what we get to celebrate here tonight. Not only the wonderfulness about this community, but quite honestly, our connection to a selection of extraordinary people who have done great entrepreneurial things in their lives. Now, in order to get started tonight, I'd like to thank all of our event sponsors for their financial support. Our visionary investors, Craig Benson, a Babson trustee and a member of the Academy of Distinguished Entrepreneurs, Comcast, and Genzyme and Henry Termeer, who was inducted into the ADE last year. Our media sponsors, the Boston Business Journal, Mass High Tech, and New England Cable News. And we also thank our angel investors, friends and family investors, and our big idea investors for their generous support. Their names are listed in your program booklets tonight. So please join me for them in a round of applause as well. The other thing that's special and wonderful about tonight is I'd like to recognize our good friend of Babson, Ernesto Bertorelli, the class of '89, who was inducted into the ADE in 2008 and joins us tonight. Ernesto was in town for a variety of activities. Saw this opportunity and graciously called us and asked if he could participate tonight, and we're so delighted to have him. As the CEO of Serrano, Ernesto rapidly grew the European pharmaceutical company with a focus on biotech. He sold the company to Merck and has gone on to launch other successful healthcare firms, and now is giving me a little bit of an update coming post-crisis. The nature of the opportunities that exist in his field in Europe are nothing short of extraordinary. He also obviously led Team Malingi to win America's Cup in 2003 and successfully defended it in 2007. We're so delighted to have you be a son of Babson and to have you here tonight. Now, this has been just another extraordinary month for Babson as we continue to find all sorts of new ways to bring entrepreneurship and Babson to the world stage. And nothing illustrates this better than the Babson Global Forum in Shanghai that is all of now 2 weeks old. Right? Any way you measure it, Shanghai was more than a home run. It was a grand slam for Babson. Why? Well, it was the people. It was the deep conversations and insights that came from it. It was the important learning that went on with our alumni, with our friends, with our faculty, with a portfolio of Chinese senior executives, with a portfolio of Chinese party officials and ministers, and with 25 Chinese business school leaders. It was about the substantive gains in our reputational capital, the 21 media reports that have come out in the last 7 days, all of which say the same thing. They all celebrate the arrival of Babson in China. They all celebrate the importance of entrepreneurship education in an environment which sorely needs it to be able to create a generation of job creators rather than a generation of job consumers. Right now, the unemployment rate among Chinese college graduates is 30 to 50%. Okay? And ultimately, the thing I liked most about all of the articles that came out, they said, you know, there is Babson, and somewhere in the paragraph it always said, and you know, each and every year, Babson manages to beat Wharton, Stanford, Harvard, MIT in all of the rankings. How come we never heard of them? Now they have. There's a portfolio of opportunities that have emerged for Babson going forward in China, just like we have a portfolio of opportunities that have emerged in the Middle East, a portfolio of opportunities that we're capitalizing on in India that will be announced in the next month, a portfolio of opportunities in Latin America that are just beginning, series of invitations that are going to our faculty to participate in forums like the World Economic Forum, things that we haven't been to before. Just last week, Dan Eisenberg of Babson Global and I met with the managing director of the World Bank and members of his organization and IFC, the International Finance Corporation. They both invited us to Washington to discuss how to partner with us on our entrepreneurship ecosystem projects in a number of countries where they have activity going on. The president of the World Bank just 3 weeks ago, Robert Zellick, identified entrepreneurship as the core activity that will be involved in the resolution of long-term issues in the Middle East. So this is our time, this is our opportunity, and people are listening. In June, members and perspectives of the Global Consortium for Entrepreneurship Education, there are now 7 schools that are joining us in faculty development and curriculum development. We expect 20 to 25 over the next year. They'll be coming to campus for the first Global Consortia Summit. The focus is on best in class and the very latest in entrepreneurship education, entrepreneurial thought and action, our entrepreneurship ecosystem projects, our work on Goldman Sachs' 10,000 Small Businesses and 10,000 Women initiative, our co-curricular activities, and our Serious Play Studio. Now, Professor Neck is here. You'll all have an opportunity to meet her this evening at some point. You can ask her what a Serious Play Studio is and what role it has in an educational institution, as well as a special session that'll be led by our good friend Steve Mariotti, founder of NIFTY, the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship. These are just a few of the many ways in which Babson's partnering to diffuse throughout the United States and overseas our unique approaches to teaching and the stimulation of entrepreneurship. Whether it's in Boston or Brazil, Shanghai, or our new campus, all of 1 week old in San Francisco, entrepreneurship continues to be the surest route to sustainable growth, economic vitality, and job creation. And the coolest thing about being the president of this institution is the world wants to partner with us. In fact, the world wants to partner with the school that in survey after survey is simply recognized not only as the best, but the only school that does what we do on a global scale. Now, I don't know how many of you saw the article in the New York Times a few Sundays ago that was titled "The Default Major, Skating Through Business School." It's the kind of thing that if you're a business school dean or president, when you see a headline like that, you just cringe, okay? Right? The article was strongly critical about the state of undergraduate business school education, except for 2 schools in the United States. Oh, and of course, one of them was Babson. The article went on to say that Babson and the University of Virginia were among 10 American colleges of business praised in a forthcoming report from the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching as the model for integrating liberal arts and practical education in a business school education. The model for integrating liberal arts and practical education. That's what makes our brand of entrepreneurship unique. It's not simply based on entrepreneurship, the discipline. In its inextricable blend of living and learning, of an innovative curriculum and the co-curricular, the out-of-classroom experience, and of taking action. It is so clear that no other school does what Babson does in the way that Babson does it, and no other school is able to get the results we get. No other school can prepare its students the way Babson does for entrepreneurial leadership of all kinds in a broad variety of settings around the world. And it is this breadth of entrepreneurial leadership that we're celebrating tonight as we induct Ralph Roberts, Brian Roberts, and Eileen Fisher into our Academy of Distinguished Entrepreneurs. Ralph and Brian Roberts are quite simply quintessential entrepreneurs. Ralph was a true industry pioneer, founding his company with the purchase of a small 1,200 subscriber cable TV system in 1963. The cable industry in those years was a little bit like the Wild West. You staked your claim, and over time, people bought out other people's land. Ralph started to buy up adjacent properties because he saw that was what really mattered in this business. It was going to all be about scale in the early years. He grew Comcast rapidly, both through acquisitions and organic growth, primarily fueled by technology. Then enter Brian Roberts, who interestingly shares the same last name, who became president in 1990 at the age of 31, and since then has accelerated the transformation of not only Comcast, but the entire industry through the internet, through video on demand, through voice over IP, and other larger acquisitions. Today, Brian is the chairman and CEO. Like his father before him, Brian continues to layer on increasing levels of complexity and vision to what has become the nation's largest video provider, the largest internet service provider, and the fourth largest phone company, and today stands as the world's largest entertainment, media, and communications company. That's an extraordinary leap from a subscriber base of 1,200 in CATV less than 50 years ago. Now, you read all about generational sagas in business, and it typically involves family tension and lots of organizational conflict. Not so with Ralph and Brian. It's been a family culture of strong mutual respect and admiration, rare in any enterprise, and especially rare in such a large one. Comcast with Ralph and then Brian at the helm is an unparalleled example of how dynamic large organizations and successful family businesses thrive on entrepreneurial leadership. Eileen Fisher is an entrepreneurial leader whose brand serves as a household name for countless numbers of women. When she started as a fashion designer in 1984, her vision was of high quality, simple, comfortable yet elegant women's clothing that aggregated into a, quote, connected wardrobe. That concept still defines the line and fills her stores and department stores across the United States and Canada. In addition to her skills as a designer and entrepreneur, she's well known for running one of the most progressive and socially conscious businesses in the United States. She didn't just change how women dressed. She changed how they thought about themselves, and she changed how they thought about their role in the world. Both her company and the foundation do remarkable work to empower women around the world. How? Well, by funding women's startups with grants, by supporting college scholarships for promising young women, by fostering leadership in young women through initiatives and local partnerships that help girls realize their full potential, by using the sales of recycled garments to support nonprofit organizations that benefit women and girls in need. The list simply goes on. And through her company and foundation, she's had an extraordinary reach, and she's been ahead of the times on issues like sustainability and fair trade. 5 years ago, Eileen set up an ESOP, an employee stock ownership plan, and transferred nearly a third of the stock of the company into it. She says, the ESOP is an extension of what I always wanted for my company, a sense of inclusivity. She still retains control, but now employees have a significant share of it. Eileen's title now is Chief Creative Officer. A year and a half ago, Eileen opened Eileen Fisher Lab, EF Lab, to try out her new ideas for simple, flattering, and ageless dressing and bring her concepts to even more women. Continually evolving, always renewing, that's the hallmark of a true entrepreneur. At Babson, we believe we've created an environment that provides support for emerging entrepreneurs, and we only hope that many of them can grow to become the future Ralph Roberts, the future Brian Roberts, or Eileen Fisher, relative to their industries. Now, after dinner tonight, you'll hear more about these three entrepreneurs as they're inducted into the Academy of Distinguished Entrepreneurs. So right now, your task is to enjoy your meal and recognize we'll continue our program after dinner. Thanks so much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lauren Snyder, and when I was in high school, I was scouted by a modeling agency. I spent my summers in New York, and after graduating high school early, modeled in Hong Kong. I know it sounds glamorous, but something was missing. I realized I was more interested in owning these companies than modeling for them. So I started looking for a college with a strong entrepreneurship program, and Babson became the clear choice. I was honored to receive Babson's Weissman Scholarship, which includes a research stipend to nurture my business aspirations. When I got to Babson this fall as a freshman, I was blown away at all the opportunities. Everyone has ideas they want to pursue, yet everyone is also eager to support one another. I found this out firsthand in my Foundations of Management and Entrepreneurship class as the founder and CEO of our company, DataBands. My dream is to start a sustainable fashion company that not only creates great clothes, but also has social value by using earth-friendly materials and working with organizations that do good works. That's what entrepreneurship of all kinds means to me. While I'm happily retired from modeling, I do hope my next magazine cover is Fortune.
Hi, my name is Hanson So. I'm 19 years old and I'm a freshman at Babson College. At the age of 16, I developed and sold a music search engine algorithm for $100,000. I recently developed an online stock forecasting tool which allows investors to make better informed decisions through news sentiment analysis. I also published a book called Personal Success Comes When You Least Expect It, which you guys can buy on Amazon. I chose Babson because I was looking for a community of like-minded entrepreneurs. I like to ask questions, and our teachers love to guide us and find our answers. Coming from Silicon Valley, I've been able to broaden my network of entrepreneurs, investors, and programmers all the way from Boston to New York. These people are the key people in my lives that help me to accomplish even more. Collaboration has always been the key to my success. The things we learn in class has been applicable to real life. These are the things that I learn every day at Babson and helps me, and I hope to make new contacts tonight as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are our first-year students. Now, we tend to not tell a lot of people that because we want to take credit for all the things they do after they graduate. And we'd like to suggest that somehow we played a role in the process. But I don't know about you, but I stand here at the age of 59, humbled by the fact that my resume bears no comparison to a 19-year-old. And that his Amazon sales are larger than mine. But between Lauren and Hanson, you get a sense of why it is I'm often fond of saying to our alumni, the Babson of today should be known as the Babson that you can't possibly get into. And that these folks will begin to know with the acceleration of the improvement of this program and the competition for spaces in the undergraduate program, that by the time they're seniors, we'll be able to say that to them. That's the level of change that's going on inside this institution. And that's why we're so delighted to put these folks in front of you as the best example of what's going on here at the school. Now I'd like to introduce my co-host for the evening, Candy Brush, Chair of the Entrepreneurship Division, Director of the Arthur M. Blank Center for Entrepreneurship, and Franklin W. Olin Distinguished Professor in Entrepreneurship. 3 titles, 1 paycheck, hell of an efficiency measure.
Welcome, everybody. It's just great to be here on this dreary evening. I know several of you had parking challenges and traffic problems, but we're really happy that you all made it because this is a fabulous celebration that we have. And now it's time in our program when we're going to officially welcome Eileen Fisher and the Roberts family into Babson's Academy of Distinguished Entrepreneurs. We hope you enjoy this short video about Eileen Fisher and her company, which captures the essence of entrepreneurship one design at a time.
I have learned over the years that my own state of mind, my own clarity, which I don't always have, is a top priority. every day I'm asking myself questions. What am I trying to do? What matters to me? And I think stopping to reflect, to think about that, helps to order my life. My mom said, I remember, she said, "Oh my God, a clothing business, Eileen, you can't sew." And then my dad said, "Oh, well, you don't know anything about business." And I think I had to admit that those were both true. I think I knew intuitively, though, that it worked as a business. For some reason, I did have the confidence that the idea was valid. As much as I don't think I had a lot of personal confidence at that point, really, yet. But I had confidence that there was this idea coming through me. In the early days, I would sit next to the buyers and look at the line with them, because I wanted to know what it meant to them and, you know, what it would mean to their customers. It wasn't so much about my ego and like, this is my idea. I really wanted to serve people. I really wanted to know, you know, how can I make it right for them? I see a lot of people in the company listening and wanting to understand, wanting to serve. It's about helping women feel good. Do we make her feel comfortable at work? Does she feel like she feels professional? Does she feel happy when she goes to an event that she can just forget about her clothes and be herself and feel good about herself? Sometimes I say like the company is just like a big school. And I feel like that about life too, actually. You know, as imperfect as it is, you can just keep trying to make it better every day, keep growing it. I learned so much from people in the company. It's fantastic. And at the same time, I'm becoming more confident that I don't have all the answers, but I have some wisdom. I guess I always think about my kids as my first work, you know, that's what matters most to me. And I learn as much from them as I teach them, for sure, you know, I mean, they're really my inspiration. Sasha goes into the store and picks things out of the recycled area. I love, you know, to see what she wears. I love when she wants to wear what I'm wearing. You know, I'm 60 years old and she's just turned 18. And actually, we're not even the same size, but she wears it differently and it works. It's so interesting. To me, it's the evolution is what's so exciting. We have such an incredible team. They're so talented and they know how to build on original ideas, you know, these pieces that hold the integrity or the essence of the line, but they're not something that would have come through me. They're not exactly my idea, you know, but they hold the philosophy. I like that kind of exponential expansion of the simple things, of the basic ideas.
So, Eileen, would you please join me on stage? While leadership isn't always easy or convenient, Eileen Fisher has understood that being a good leader means being a good listener, as in listening to the needs of her customers and her employees. And she does this by maintaining the highest standards as well as taking risks, celebrating accomplishments, and building the confidence of her organization. Eileen Fisher also takes it one step further with her commitment to making a profound and positive impact on the world through her brand. Her energy and zeal are the hallmarks of her work at Eileen Fisher, Inc. Tonight, we honor Eileen Fisher for her significant achievements in business and for her ability to balance a dynamic career with family and community. She is an inspiring leader for business and society. It is my great pleasure to introduce our first inductee of 2011 into Babson's Academy of Distinguished Entrepreneurs, Eileen Fisher. I'd like to present you with this honor in honor of your joining the Academy of Distinguished Entrepreneurs on this date, April 28th, 2011.
Thank you. I have to do this because I don't know. Well, thank you, everyone. Oh my goodness, I think I need an umbrella. Let's see, who's out there? Okay, lots of guys out there, huh? Strange. I usually talk to rooms full of women. I don't know why that feels strange. Anyway, first I want to say thank you, and I accept this fantastic honor. Probably, as you know, I'm actually a brand. So I get a lot of credit for a lot of things that I actually don't do because my name's on the door. So I accept this award in honor of all the wonderful people that I work with. I have an incredibly talented and fantastic, dedicated, amazing team. Just so many wonderful people. I'm just blessed to work with every day, and they're just fantastic. So it's for them. I accept this award. Thank you. While you're stuck with me standing in front of you, I like to sort of espouse my philosophies about what I think, whatever I think. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if I think, but anyway. When I started my business, I didn't realize it was a business. I started my business, I had an idea about simple clothes, and they should be comfortable, and they should sort of all work together in sort of a wardrobing system. And when I first designed my first little line of clothes and took it to the boutique show, I forgot to put prices on them. Because I don't think I realized, I think I could have used Babson actually at that point, or a little bit of guidance anyway in terms of business. So I don't think I really didn't understand what I was doing. But over the years, I came to realize that business is an amazing thing. Business has a huge potential and power to actually touch a lot of people and make a huge difference in the world. And just a little while ago, I was talking to Steve from Comcast. He's a fantastic guy. It sounds like a fantastic company. I'm sad we didn't get to meet our other honorees, and I want to congratulate them. But they do a lot of amazing things. And one little conversation we had was really interesting. We were talking about how businesses today, there's so much conversation about greed in the world, about business and all the terrible things that corporations are doing and all this greed and stuff like that. And actually, we were talking about all the good things Comcast does and talking about some of the good things that we do at Eileen Fisher. And I have come to believe over the years that businesses are such an incredible possible force for change. And I see it everywhere. I think in my own business, starting with just the product itself, my favorite thing is when women come up to me and say, "Your clothes have changed my life." And I realize that just by designing what I love, just by doing the things that we're passionate about, we can actually make a difference for people. We can make women feel comfortable, feel good about themselves, make getting dressed simpler, make it possible for them to do important work in the world, like show up in more of these kind of places, like there should be 50% women at these tables, guys. So, anyway, sorry. We love you guys, though, and all the guys who love women can hang around too, okay? Okay. Anyway, aside from the products that we create, there are so many other ways I see that we can
we can make a difference in the world. And one of them is the organizations that we create, the people that we work with, the way we create those organizations, and the way we work together. I love the story about the father and son running Comcast. I love about their relationship. And I think what we do is so much about relationship. In our company, it's a huge collective, incredibly creative, talented people working together in a non-competitive, collaborative, amazing way with this kind of deep idea that all of us can be leaders. All of us should be engaged on every level, in every way that we can be and want to be. We can be a part of all kinds of different teams. The company that we have, it's not about, just having a particular position, but, you're very much about the person that you are. There's Hillary and Cynthia and Carrie and just everyone. They're people doing a variety of things that they come in to do a particular job, and they never stay in that little box. They move around, they're invited in to be engaged in so many ways. We try to keep the company as transparent as possible, keep the financial information open. As Len mentioned, we have an ESOP, so people are really a part of it. I like to think of the company not so much as a top-down kind of structure, but as a solar system, that all these teams kind of rotating and working together. And we have actually Susan Shore tonight, who's very responsible she's the head of people and culture, and very responsible for the kind of organization we have today and creating this solar system kind of structure. It's very interesting and very empowering to all the people. Anyway, in terms of changing the world, and I like to think also that the way we work with our suppliers is another way we make a difference. We try to make sure people are paid fairly. We were very early in the game. I think we were the first ones with the SA 8000, the sweatshop standards. We were a part of creating them. We are doing all kinds of environmental projects where people in the company just get passionate about things and take it on. People in the design department fell in love with organic cotton. They decided they wanted to start producing more organic products. I think that was, 6 or 8 years ago. Today, 70% of our cottons are organic. Even our jeans are organic. We're actually working with factories in China to work on the dye process, so that I think we're opening a new factory in China that is totally they're putting the water out as clean as it comes into the factory, so no nasty dyes and not polluting. And so little by little, baby steps, we can really change the world. There's millions of ways. We also like to engage our customers. We like to think about changing the world through the charities we support. And I was talking to Steve about Girls Inc. We support them too. They're great. We're interested in girls' leadership, women's leadership. Recycling. Len talked about that. I'm actually wearing a recycled garment. I went into our lab store the other day and decided to pick up this garment from the back area, which was recycled, and actually that's what I'm wearing. So making the point that clothes can last a really long time, and then all the money from our recycled clothes. It's actually a cool business idea because women bring in their clothes and they get a discount to buy new clothes, and then we take the money, we take the clothes and we clean them and we sell them, and then we take all that money and give it to charity. So what is interesting is that it's good for the environment, it's good for the charities, and the customers buy more clothes. So it's a good business idea. So I think, anyway, there's a million things like that, and I think I want to make the point that business is a really good thing, that we can look around ourselves every day in our businesses, and if we just have the intention to think about it in a higher and deeper way, that we can use our businesses to change the world. And it's amazing because it's also really good for business. Okay, so anyway, hold that thought, and thank you so much. I really appreciate the award. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eileen. That was really inspirational. It's great to think that she is changing the world. So thank you very much. We have a video that celebrates the spirit of entrepreneurship and innovation at Comcast.
Making things that endure takes work and an unbreakable spirit. Generation after generation.
I just think I'm an example of what you can do in America, starting with very little.
Like Ralph and Brian Roberts.
And if you have a good determination and you're honest about what you do, you can be successful.
Who together have created one of the largest, most innovative companies of its kind. Ralph had a vision to change the way people watch TV. And slowly, both the company and its legend grew. When Brian showed an interest in joining the company, it was clear that he shared his father's vision for growth and innovation.
He and I were convinced that if he was going to be in the company, he should learn the business, even better than the father. And so I never climbed a pole, but Brian did.
Brian and his team ushered in a new era of growth and innovation, turning the company into a technology leader.
If we're going to have the most successful company in the world, which is my goal, it starts with innovation.
Today, the one-time cable TV company is the leading media, entertainment, and communications company anywhere.
Accelerating for customers the technological needs that they clearly have in the 21st century, which is all devices, all content, anytime.
And in January 2011, the company reached a historic milestone: the acquisition of NBC Universal, making Comcast one of the largest media companies in the nation.
We're a company built on integrity, family values, and hard work. I do want to welcome all of you to the Comcast family.
To have a moment like this with my 89-year-old father, to be here to share this. And it was the best start to the most important moment of this whole deal.
Like the foundation the company was built on, Comcast continues to foster entrepreneurial spirit and innovation.
The opportunity to continue and to build upon what my father started and to actually do it with my father, it doesn't get any better.
Unfortunately, as I mentioned, we've had inclement weather. We also had inclement weather in Philadelphia today, and that prevented Ralph and Brian Roberts from joining us in person this evening. But like the true entrepreneurs that they are, they have sent Steve Hackley, Comcast's Senior Vice President for the Greater Boston region, to represent them. And also within the past couple of hours, they've produced and sent us their remarks to share with you tonight. Steve, please join me on stage. I'm going to read a little bit here. Brian Roberts has distinguished himself in the family business started by his father, Ralph Roberts. In 1963, Ralph Roberts began Comcast Corporation as a small business with just a few hundred customers in Tupelo, Mississippi. Today, it is one of the country's largest companies, serving more than 23 million customers. Comcast has flourished under the leadership of Brian Roberts as he continues to steer it toward opportunity and innovation. Together, Ralph and Brian Roberts are members of the Entrepreneur Shares Global 400, a mutual fund based on the entrepreneurial characteristics of business managers at more than 400 of the best managed publicly traded entrepreneurial companies in the world. This is one more honor in a lifetime of achievement for the family. For the many contributions of Ralph and Brian Roberts have made to business and the communications industry, the Babson community proudly recognizes their achievements tonight by inducting both of them into our Academy of Distinguished Entrepreneurs. Steve, thank you for accepting this prize on behalf of the Roberts, and we welcome them into the Academy of Distinguished Entrepreneurs on April 28th, 2011. So thank you.
Thank you very much and good evening. I'm privileged and proud to accept these awards on behalf of Brian and Ralph. I have the pleasure of working with them on a regular basis, and I use that preposition with, not in a moment of hubris, but I offer it to you in a moment of reflection on the kind of company that Comcast is. We're not a work for kind of place, we're a work with kind of place, and I think that came across in the video that you saw in which Brian and Ralph articulated some of the values that we have at Comcast. And so one of the things I know they would also want me to do is to congratulate Eileen Fisher Companies, and all the people who accepted the awards on today. Congratulations, Eileen. They would also be impressed with the student entrepreneurs who spent time kicking off our various segments here, and they would say, before you leave, drop a card on our table because we have a place for you at Comcast. So congratulations to the young men and women who inspired us here on behalf of Brian and Ralph as well. And as Candy said, as true entrepreneurs, Brian and Ralph, when they were stymied at the airport and the inclement weather didn't let them take off, they said, we're going to overcome this obstacle. Back to the HQ they went, they got into the media center, and they created the video that we're going to show you so that they could have virtual Brian and Ralph and accept the award this evening. So if we could.
I'm honored to receive this award alongside my son Brian. We're truly sorry that we cannot be there in person. After seeing that video, I'm sure you will agree with me that nepotism is a good thing. Witness my son Brian. Thank you, Babson, for this great honor and for the wonderful work you do to build entrepreneurs for the future.
Good evening, everyone. I also want to say how sorry we are we couldn't be there tonight. It just wasn't safe with the weather. But we really would love to be there in the amazing venue where this is being held. It has a special connection for us being the JFK Library. Just last winter, we were pleased to be among the library's partners in celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Kennedy presidency. And together, we created an innovative video-on-demand destination on all of our cable systems around the country that featured President Kennedy's inaugural address, the Kennedy-Nixon debates, and other amazing highlights of his memorable years in office. For a whole new generation, it was a great history lesson. We're entering a new entrepreneurial age, and it's fascinating to see the role that entrepreneurs are playing in creating value for business and for society. Babson's reputation is virtually synonymous with entrepreneurialism. You turn out amazing, talented, driven people like our own Chief Financial Officer, Michael Angelakis. So it really is a special honor for Ralph and for me to accept this induction into your Academy of Distinguished Entrepreneurs. My dad is a true entrepreneur ever since high school. After his father died very young, he moved to Philadelphia with his mother to share a house with his aunt. And from that early age, Ralph had to make his own way. He got himself into the University of Pennsylvania, paid his tuition by selling eggs to the fraternities on campus, served in the Navy, and when he got out, he tried his hand at a number of things, everything from making golf club putters to advertising. And he wound up in the men's belt and accessories business in his 30s, where he was asked to become president of the company. And he built that business, and then he sold it at around 40 years old and started looking for his next great opportunity, which he found in something called community antenna television, and the year was 1963. And let me tell you, I am forever grateful that he got out of the men's belt business and got into cable television. Otherwise, I don't think I'd be here standing before you being inducted into this wonderful recognition. And even though Ralph has been in the cable business for now almost 50 years, and I've been in it for almost all of my adult life, we never have forgotten the entrepreneurial spirit that has made Comcast what it is. And as I talk to new employees every day, I think that's the number one thing we want our company to stand for, is growth and entrepreneurial spirit. Making managers responsible as if they own the business themselves, giving the right incentives to grow and innovate and to share in the success. And we think the future of our whole company depends on keeping this feeling. So every day, at every level, we think about what you're learning right there at Babson. And that's why I think we so admire what you guys are teaching and doing, and I see it in Mike Angelakis and the spirit he brings to our company. In fact, Comcast and Babson have been partners for a while, and on that same spirit of entrepreneurialism and innovation, we're pleased to announce another new facet of our relationship. We're going to try and trial a new technology to test out the delivery of video services to a variety of IP-connected devices all across your amazing campus. Together, we'll explore new and exciting ways to deliver our services anytime, anywhere, on any device, and it's part of our vision of, Project Infinity, where you can get whatever you want, whenever you want it as a consumer, and we're going to start it and figure it out right on your campus. We're all excited about where technology is taking us, but on a personal note, what I'd like to say tonight is, if you're in business, it's all about finding a mentor, and how lucky I've been to have Ralph Roberts as my father, but also as the man who's made this all possible for me. So thank you all so much for tonight. We're really bummed we can't be there in person. Keep up the great work, and Ralph, thank you for everything you've allowed me to do with my life so far.
I am most honored. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Steve, for coming in and accepting the award for the Roberts family. We appreciate it. Over the years, the members of the Academy of Distinguished Entrepreneurs have made a significant impact on the world, not only in terms of their creation of social and economic value. In honor of Eileen Fisher and the Roberts family joining the Academy, the Babson will award a 4-year scholarship in each of their names to 2 incoming first-year students this fall who demonstrate the potential for the kind of entrepreneurial leadership that has been the hallmark of their careers of achievement and service. So we'd like to thank them very much for being honorees this evening. And so we would like to conclude the evening as it started with 2 student entrepreneurs who will tell their stories. And I have to say that even though I may have 3 titles, I feel like an underachiever when I hear the stories that these students tell. So we would like to welcome 2 more students to the stage. Thank you very much.
My name's John Chartier, and I always knew that I wanted to study entrepreneurship. Not because I wanted to own my own business, but because I wanted to learn to think differently, to take a fresh approach to a stubborn problem or an emerging opportunity. That's why I came to Babson. And in the 4 years here, the biggest thing that I'm taking away is the incredible sense of community you find in every corner of campus. Thanks to Babson, I've been able to work and study in London, the Arctic, and Switzerland. In late summer, I'll start as a business analyst for McKinsey & Company, where entrepreneurial thought and action is one of the firm's biggest competitive advantages. I've also been accepted to Harvard Business School's 2+2 program, where recent graduates work for 2 years and then study for 2 years at Harvard. These are all opportunities that I don't think I ever would have been able to reach without the skills and support I got right here at Babson. That's the best thing about this collaborative environment. You're allowed to fail, just quickly. Then you learn from it, and you work together to achieve all your goals.
So I don't want to bum anyone out, but have any of you thought about where your dinner came from? I don't mean the caterer, which has been fabulous. I mean, do you know who grew it, where, and everything that's happened from the time that it left the fields and the farms until it reached your plate here? Well, I've been thinking about this. My name is Rachel Greenberger, and I came to Babson on a mission. I wanted to make a substantial, positive impact on society and the environment, and I knew that all the issues that concerned me were connected to the food industry. So, this year, with the Lewis Institute and the Babson Social Innovation Lab, I am launching the Food Solutions Institute. Food Soul is not a think tank. We are an action tank. Our goal is to convene entrepreneurs, corporations, academics, and partners from healthcare, government, finance, and farm to collaboratively design the solutions that will drive triple bottom line business in food. Food Soul is work I must do. And Babson, as the leader in entrepreneurial thought and action, is the ideal launching pad for me to do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the program has concluded. Thank you for joining us tonight for Babson's World Stage. Enjoy your evening.